All right, finance students. So this is the 2.4.2 checkup. So hopefully you've already posted in the discussion board and replied to a classmate. Excuse me. And then you've done the 2.4.1 study. Okay. And then what you want to do is just pause this video or come back to it later. Do the checkup. Watch the rest of this video. Check your answers, and then go back and do the quiz, the 2.4.3 quiz. Okay, I'm just going to go through the checkup. So number one, Miguel recently started a new hourly wage. The equation y equals 18.75x plus 2,500 models his total pay. Y in dollars relates to the number of hours x that he has worked. What is Miguel's hourly rate of pay? Well, the variable is going to be his hours. So he's making $18.75 an hour. It'd be nice to make $2,500 an hour, but that's something else. Okay, how many hours must Miguel work to receive $10,000 in total pay? Well, I'm going to write this equation. Y equals 18.75x plus 2,500. And he wants to receive $10,000 in total pay, which is the y variable. And I want to solve for x. Okay, so how many hours does he need to work? X represents hours. It says it right over here, number of hours x. And y is the total pay. So y is total pay. So total pay would be 10,000. Then I just got a little bit of algebra to do here. So subtract 2,500. Subtract 2,500. You're left with 7,500 equals 18.75x. Divide by 18.75. So how many times is 18.75 going to 7,500? That is a calculator work here. If that wants to pop up. Doesn't want to pop up from the bottom. Let's do it this way. Where'd my calculator go? There it is. Okay, so this is going to be 7,500 divided by 18.75, and he's going to have to work 400 hours. Okay, so x would equal 400. Okay, there's going to be a similar problem to that in the quiz. Part B, we kind of skipped that. Does it appear that Miguel received a signing bonus? Yes. Okay, that would be the 2,500. So he got his hourly wage and he got some 2,500 there. Christmas bonus or something. All right, number 3. What was the contractor's hourly rate of pay for the first 200 hours? So the first 200 hours is this slope right here. And I could do a couple things to figure this out. The first 200 hours, if I want to figure out an hourly rate, I could just list these 2 points here. This is over 200. And up 2,000. And this point is just 0, 0. Okay, so if I wanted to find the slope is the change in y over the change in x. Brielle's crying, by the way. Okay, so I get y2 minus y1. I'm going to label this x1, y1, x2, y2, and I'm just going to do some math here, find the slope. You might be able to look at this and figure out the slope, but I'm going to do 2,000 minus 0 over 200 minus 0. Okay, so my slope here is pretty much going to be 2,000 over 200. So m equals 2,000 over 200. And if I just chop this off here, I get 20 over 2. So m equals 10. So $10 per hour for that first part. Okay, then the next part, the hourly rate after working 200 hours. Okay, maybe he gets a raise after working 200 hours. Well, the slope, let's check out the slope. Okay, we can do kind of the same thing. It goes through this point, and it goes through this point right here. So this is the point over 300, up 7,000. And this is the point over 250, up 6,000. You can always just connect these with a little line. And I'm going to label this X1, Y1, because it's my first point as I go from left to right. And this is X2, Y2. And I'm going to do the slope here. So Y2 is 7,000. Y1 is 6,000. X2 is 300. And X1 is 250. And if I find the slope would be his hourly rate. This is going to be 1,000 over 50. Chop that off. I get 100 divided by 5. So now he's making $20 per hour. Okay. So the slope is definitely a little bit steeper than that. So he's making more after he works that first 200 hours. Okay, what is one possible explanation for what happened when he reached 200 hours? Well, maybe he got a raise. Maybe it's a different job and he's charging more for the job. It's more difficult. Lots of explanations. Okay, the graph is what kind of linear equation? What is the equation? Okay, this is in slope-intercept form. So the equation you can use is y equals mx plus b. It's in slope-intercept form. And if I wanted to write this, it's continuous up to a point, and then it jumps right here. Okay, so this is a piece rate function here, or it is a function that changes. It's got two functions in there. So it says, what is the equation? Well, the first equation for the first is going to be y equals 10x, and the next one is going to be y equals 20x. Okay, and you would write some other things. We'll go into those later. So it's only 10x up to a certain point. It's only 10x when x is less than or equal to 200. Okay, so you got to put kind of that stipulation on it. And it's 20x when he works over 200 hours. Remember, x represents hours worked. Okay, why is there an open dot for 203,000, part B? So 203,000, let's go there. Let's kind of erase all this. 203,000, why is there an open dot right here? Well, he has to stop this job first, so he works this 200th hour here, and he can't be in two places at one time. He can't work another job on that 200th hour, so there's got to be an open circle. So the first job, he works that 200th hour. The second job is open. This is a closed circle that's open. All right, so we kind of answered that question. And the next two things here. What is the equation in point slope form of a line with slope of 3/5 that passes through the point -2, 7? Okay, so it's asking for point slope form. So point slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. All right, so this is the point slope form, another algebra formula here. And it says that this is the point, so I'm just going to label this x1, y1, and then this is going to be my m value. So I'm just going to plug that in. So y minus y1, which is 7. So y1 is 7, so I just plug that in right there, equals 3/5, which is my slope, times x minus x1. x1 is in red right here. Okay, and I have to have two minus signs here. So this is in the formula already, plus it's a -2. Well, in addition, it's a -2. And it looks like that. If I want to rewrite this, let me shrink this up. I'll shrink it all up here. I could just take care of this double negative at the back here. This is 3/5, and then x plus 2. I could just change this minus a negative 2 to plus 2. Okay, so that would be in point slope form. Okay, part 8. The two pieces of a graph on a piecewise linear equation meet at the point 416. The first piece begins at the origin on a slope of 4, and the second piece has a slope of 12. What is the equation? Okay, so it's a piecewise function. I'm just going to sketch it over here. The first begins at the origin. The origin is 0, 0, and has a slope of 4. Okay, so it has a slope of 4. So it's going up 4 over 1. And then it's going up another 4 because the slope is 4 over 1. And then 12 and 16. Okay, we're just sketching it. So this would be 2, 3, and 4. So 312 would be a point, and 416 would be a point. And so this function right here looks like that. And the second piece has a slope of 12. So the second piece would have a slope of 12. That would get pretty steep here. So the next part, 5, would be 12 more than this. Okay, so this would be 16 plus 12, which is 28. So this would go all the way up to 28. So the next point would be 5, 28. So this has a slope of 4. And this has a slope of 12. So much steeper. And then it says, what is the equation? Okay, well, what is the equation? The equation has two parts. You would say the equation is y equals 4x if x is less than or equal to 4. And you'd say y equals 12x if x is greater than or equal to 4. And it says they meet at 4. So if they meet at 4, 416, then that's going to be a closed circle right there. All right, next one. Suppose you work at a diner making $8.50 an hour. After working for 20 days, you are promoted to a manager and get a raise to $14 an hour. What is the equation that models your pay for the first 20 days? Okay, so the first 20 days you're making $8.50 an hour. Okay, and what's the equation after the promotion? Well, you're still being paid hourly. And you would write y equals 14x. Okay, this is when x is less than or equal to 20. And this is when x is greater than 20. So I don't know if it says sketch it, but we can just sketch this out here since there's an open space here. So this would be your hours worked. This would be your pay here. Okay, the first part of the graph would look like this. So this would be you're making $8.50 an hour up until 20 hours. So the slope is 8.50. Okay, this would be how much you actually receive in pay. We're not going to write that. And then you're going to have a different slope there. So it's got two pieces of the function. This would be a slope of 14. All right, and they meet right here. Okay, so it would look like that. Okay. And y equals your total pay, and x would be your hours worked. I hope that helps you guys out.